All right, good evening, Midwest Star Wars Fanatics. We are back and welcome to the Midwest Star Wars Fanatics Live, brought to you by our buddies over at the Hashtag Show and our friends over at TRG Toys and Collectibles. I am Star Wars Nerd 574, your host Greg, with my co-host here Travis, and
Hello,
we've
hello.
got another fun day of Star Wars news. Talking about a lot of news today. It was pretty much nonstop today for us writers and everybody else. Um, Vanity wrote an article that just like was just amazing. First of all, if you got to see the cover, and I forgot to add that graphic today, but just with all the stuff coming up with the future of Star Wars and live action, and we really didn't even get to talk much about the animated stuff with all the news today. So hopefully that'll be coming shortly. But again, just want to welcome everybody, and if you can, make sure you chime in. Let us know that you are watching. Jonathan, welcome. We're glad to see you here watching us, and Facebook user with the hearts. Thank you again as well. Oh, and there it is right there. So first thing we're going to talk about, we're going to get into Star Wars Celebration. That's coming up. We're very excited that we'll be heading that way very shortly. But the first thing we're going to talk about is the new timeline that came out today. That kind of gave us like the order of what to expect for live action. And obviously, we know that Obi-Wan is coming up here in less than 10 days. Actually 10 days. Yeah. So we've got a lot coming. So Travis, I mean, how exciting is this for Star Wars fans? We kind of went from the longest time of nothing, and then now we have this timeline of what to expect for the next year and a half, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we knew obviously when Book of Boba Fett finished that Obi-Wan was coming at some point. I think at that point in time, we had no idea when. So I think it was maybe April when they finally announced that, hey, Obi-Wan was going to be coming in May, and then they moved it to end of May to kind of coincide with Celebration. But everything else was a little bit of didn't really know. So, seeing in this article, definitely kind of dropped out of nowhere is a big surprise here. Vanity Fair had all the exclusive information that they gathered from Disney and Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
But yeah, to know that we have Obi-Wan, Andor, and probably Mandalorian coming this
Yep.
year. I know there's a lot of speculation on whether Mandalorian season 3 was going to fall 22 or 23. It looks like it's planning for 22, probably December, like they did the last couple times, if not early 23. But then, they also have Bad Batch season 2 should be
Yep.
coming, I think, at some point this year as well. So yeah, it kind of went from we don't know what to expect when to here's when to expect
Yep.
everything. And not even just in the TV show side, but also some of the films, a little bit of clarity on that, as much as they were able to provide at this point.
Yeah, yeah, and it was kind of nice to finally see everything kind of laid out. I know fans have been waiting, and I'm sure that announcement also would have been made at Celebration.
Hmm.
But just kind of knowing, going to Obi-Wan, we're only getting 6 episodes of Obi-Wan. So we're getting the first two right off the bat. So that takes down some of the long-term excitement, but at the same time, we know what's coming. Obviously, dates were not released. Some articles out there were saying, "Hey, release dates were set." No dates have been set. We just know what kind of year everything is going into. So, we're rolling Obi-Wan, then we're rolling into Andor, then possibly the Mandalorian, depending on when that falls. It could be like the Book of Boba Fett that fell on, the last day of December and then rolled into the next year. Um, and then Ahsoka, and then the Acolyte. So
Hmm.
a lot coming our way, a lot to be excited about, and we'll get into the Acolyte here a little bit as well, because that's kind of a new one, and especially for me, which I need to actually get back onto my the High Republic reading and stuff, so I can get caught up on that as well. But let's talk about some news that you wrote about today, if you want to kind of enlighten us on one of the new things that are
Yeah.
heading our
So,
way.
yeah, the director from the Spider-Man trilogy, the latest one, the home versions, Homecoming, No Way Home, Far From Home, John Watts, who I think it had been rumored for a little while, at least since February, that he was going to be involved in a Star Wars project for Disney Plus. Didn't unveil a lot of information, but did give a little bit of tidbits and hints about what it is, and they kind of likened it to a 1980s style coming of age film. So if any of us of like my age and older, probably are familiar with those sort of plethora of 80s movies, Goonies, Karate Kid, etc., that sort of younger teenage kids. So it'll be interesting to see specifically, more about it. Really, the only information is, its code name is Grammar Rodeo,
Yep.
and they have a casting call out for kids 11, 12, 13 kind of time frame. So, maybe this is like a Stranger Things version for Star Wars, seeing how popular that was for Netflix. Again, another 80s
Yeah.
style coming of age thing seems to be kind of in vogue right now. So, but yeah, definitely excited about this. John Watts did a great job with the Spider-Man trilogy, so I'm sure Lucasfilm and Disney is excited to see what he can do here in Star Wars, especially now that
Yeah.
he's not going to be doing the Fantastic Four reboot that he was supposed to be doing. So
Yeah.
has, I guess, more focused attention now here on the Star Wars project.
Yeah, and then what's interesting too is we obviously know that one of the animation projects was leaked during the panel release
Hmm.
with the Tales of the
Mhm.
Jedi, and we know it's not that he's working on now because of the casting probably. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what our way, and hopefully again maybe we'll get some reveals at Star Wars Celebration as well. But then going into one of the next stories that we had today is we finally got some kind of official tidbits on the Acolyte, which I thought was very, very interesting to come out with everything in the article because it's being pushed back. They didn't even give us the year with that one. That's it in the future. So we don't really know if it's going to be 2023, 2024, and so on. But they finally did give us when this show is going to take place, which is 100 years before the Phantom Menace. So
Mhm.
obviously you're not going to have the same old characters in there. Well, Yoda. But now with the High Republic, again, this is something I'm still really trying to get back into and taking off from there. But I mean, what are your thoughts about with not only Disney giving us very little on this, but what they have given us still really hasn't told us exactly what we're going to expect.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with you that out of all of the eras of Star Wars content, the High Republic is the one I know the absolute least about. So it's, I guess knowing this comes out sometime in the future, that gives us some time to go off and do a little bit of catching up to kind of maybe understand that timeline. I also wonder too, there may not be a lot of details because they may have just a real loose framework of what this is going to actually be about, and they can't give us too many details because they're still figuring it out themselves on how this all ties in with the books, the comics, the other High Republic stuff they've already put out, stuff that's already planned to be coming out, because a lot of the High Republic has been novels, and people are working on novels many months to years in
Yeah,
advance. So there's probably a lot of threads to pull and dots to connect to make sure this acolyte thing fits in properly with the overall era that they're sort of building up. It is
yeah,
kind of exciting in a way though to get something, even though it's only 100 years before the Phantom Menace. I guess it's still a time period that not a lot has been shown yet on screen,
yeah,
at least. Again, the only downside, I guess, is we still know at some point the Republic is going to be in control because that's what leads into the Phantom Menace. So there's not a lot of what's going to happen because we kind of know what the end of that High Republic era looks like. It looks like the prequel series.
yeah. So yeah, and when you talk about interweaving everything together, I mean the High Republic and those books and stuff came out so quickly, and obviously all the authors and everybody had to come together and really build that story together. And I know there's a lot of talk about it going into Celebration, so we'll probably find out a lot more about that again next week in Star Wars Celebration from there. But when we talk about movies and stuff that we haven't seen yet, there's one area that I know a few fans here. It's kind of a hot topic for people, but one of the trilogies that we were promised for from one of our favorite ones, good old Ryan Johnson. So again, with all the Star Wars news and people who just turned in, like they're like, really, this is what we got, huh? I think that this news is so interesting because I actually had someone send me a message and it's like, oh, it looks like Ryan Johnson's done. I was like, no, that's not what Kennedy said.
Hmm.
They still will not officially say that he is not making a trilogy. Um, and that they put them on the back burner. And I know you wrote a little bit about this article today, so if you want to talk about it a little bit,
Yeah,
and
it's
yeah.
it's a very interesting choice of words. But that's what being a multi-decade Hollywood executive, like Kathleen Kennedy is, I guess, gives you that skill set to be very choice and selective in the words that get published. Because yeah, they said the project is quote on the back burner, that Ryan Johnson is very busy, which he is, with Knives Out, the sequel, which will be coming, I think, later this year.
Yeah,
And then I think there's a planned third one for that. He also has a movie like first rights deal with Netflix. So he definitely has a
yeah,
lot going on, which Kathleen Kennedy alluded to in her quote. Um, but yeah, and then she also had another line in my article where she said, kind of hesitant to say the word trilogies anymore, that they're
yeah,
trying to go with this more constant flow, constant contact, steady storytelling versus set three, stories, kind of like Marvel has been doing. You could
yeah.
definitely tell Lucasfilm is taking the page right out of the Marvel playbook on how to do things, TV, film, connect things, keep it all continuous. But it is very strange. Like you mentioned, she had multiple opportunities to say, it's been canceled, we're moving another direction. She said everything up to that point, but didn't say that. So I have to think that there's a reason why she's not coming right out and just saying that, like, hey, whatever he was working on has been scrapped. Maybe it becomes an animated thing, maybe it becomes a one off, maybe it becomes something, but it still seems like maybe there's a potential for Ryan Johnson to return to Star Wars in some way, shape, or form after all the Last Jedi bad taste leaves some of the fandom's mouth that a lot of
Yeah.
people get still worked up about.
And I'm just very interested in like I kind of want to see a Ryan Johnson story where he doesn't have to follow someone else's story. So
Mhm.
I know that's probably an unpopular opinion for some people, but at the same time, is Nice Out was great. I loved it, and the second like we got. I mean, he obviously can produce a good movie.
Yeah,
So I just
I'm
want to see what he does when he doesn't follow someone else's storyline and what he can do on his own.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely right there with you. Knives Out, absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the sequel. And, if he keeps making more Knives Out movies and can't do a Star Wars, then, I'll live with that because I was a big fan. Looper that he did kind of was, again, a movie I didn't expect, kind of out of nowhere. And I finally watched it. I was like, oh, wow, this is actually a pretty good film. So I think from an overall writing, directing standpoint, he's very talented and good. I just don't think he was the right person per se to inject his sort of style on the sequel trilogy to Star Wars, where fans
Yeah.
had a very specific playbook that they wanted to see followed to be happy, and he wasn't going to do that.
Yep. So more to come, people. We obviously do not have the answers yet, but I mean, note today that they still will not officially say no,
Yeah.
he's one, or yes, he is. So right
As
now
as
he's
of
still in limbo, put on the back burner. More to
as
come.
of
So
as of May 17th,
yep,
2022, Ryan Johnson, you're telling me there's still a chance.
there's still it's still something going on, but who knows what. So, but with movie talk, obviously, and this is what I thought was interesting too. And before we go into the celebration talk, Rogue Squadron,
Mm,
and stuff. We're not hearing anything really on the movie front. I mean, there's little chatters here, so and so's directing this, so and so's directing that, but there has been no push for movie news, which I found very interesting, and wondering if that's something will actually pop up during celebration as well. And I know if you're out there listening, people, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Is do you think that we're going to see a Star Wars movie anytime soon in the theaters? Because it's just right now, it just does not feel like we're going to get one.
mhm. What I thought was very interesting too in the article is Kennedy seemed to allude to that. I always struggle with his name. Takiti uh, Takiti Waititi, whatever, the New Zealand guy that's doing all the Thor movies. His film is actually expected to be done first from the Investor Day. I think it was Investor Day
Yeah,
previously when they kind of announced Rogue Squadron was they had, they had the logo for it. Patty Jenkins was doing it, all that sort of stuff. I figured, hey, this film was much further along than his, but it sounds like for whatever reason, his is actually going to be done before. So to your point, if that's the case, I'm not expecting probably a Star Wars movie until like 2024. Probably
Yeah,
maybe summer, fall 2024 is probably the earliest we're going to see something. 'Cause you have to think the amount of production after special effects, et cetera, that go into that film. It's not like they film it and then it comes out, a few months later. It's probably gonna be a year in post production.
yeah. And then another, like I said, there was just so much today, and I don't even think we even got a chance to even get to all of it, writing it up. Another interesting comment today was from Kennedy was about Solo, how
Mm,
she said that they were wrong in trying to cast somebody else as Han Solo, or trying to, how it's not going to work again. And I thought that was a very interesting statement, because honestly, for people who watch Solo, yeah, it wasn't Harrison Ford, but it was good. Like
yeah, that
I am
that
one of the
was
make Solo happen again, people. And I honestly, once the movie started and the story, I didn't care who was playing him. He did a good job. He tied it in. The same with Lando. I mean, it was all to me good. So I thought her answer was kind of like she was using that
yeah,
as a failure instead of what really was the failure, and that was the release time and the horrible marketing
yeah.
on there.
It,
So I mean,
yeah, when I saw that quote, I was like, no, Alden was not the issue with
no,
Solo. The issue with Solo was it came out 6 months after The Last Jedi,
yeah,
and it came out in a weird time frame, and people, I myself had no issues with The Last Jedi. I wasn't upset and up in arms. There's a lot of people that just there was sort of this wave of negative PR and backlash that Solo
yeah,
got caught up in. And had they waited until like a year from Last Jedi, or moved it, it would have and marketed it differently and properly, then I think it would have been a success.
yeah,
I've hardly met a single person that I've talked to that's actually seen the movie that had a lot negative to say. Maybe a little nitpicky things here. They're like, oh, I didn't like L3 and how they portrayed the droids, but whatever. People still liked it.
yeah. I
And it
mean,
makes it, and
I
it makes me wonder too, if this casting people is this new thing, then that means we're just gonna try to deep fake everybody. Is the Haven't heard much about it. I think we talked about it last time, or maybe the time before, the Lando Calrissian series that was supposed to be being created by Disney. Does that mean that's
yeah.
off because, well, Donald Glover's been recast? We're gonna deep fake Billy D. I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, so
It's at some
I
point
just
that's tell good stories, have good actors, do good stuff, and people don't care that much about the casting. I mean, Star Wars fans for the longest time were all about, let's get was it Sebastian Stan to do Luke Skywalker. People would have been happy with that because it looked close enough. So that was not the issue. So
yeah,
that
so
was a bit. I think she was just trying to blame something that was.
that's exactly, it was like a cop out for kind of saying, hey, we messed up. I mean, because if I remember right, I think they went against what, Avengers and Deadpool during the same time, like in that kind of time frame, and it was just the marketing was horrible. Like I mean, I don't know. So
Yeah.
make Solo 2 happen. I
Yes.
still support it.
Still,
I want it. I want more Solo. I thought it was good.
That's a
But
good idea. I'm gonna have to
obviously,
try to find a T-shirt to order before next week so I can wear that out there.
yeah, unfortunately, I'm pretty low on the totem pole, so I doubt if I'll ever get hurt on that one. Um, but speaking of going out there, we are only what, not even geez, we are so close to Star Wars Celebration that you can taste it. Um, it's unbelievable. I know I'll be heading out this weekend. Heading out that way out west, and ready to go to Anaheim. I know you're excited going on your first trip to Star Wars Celebration.
Hmm.
A lot going on. We had our friend Spencer on last week, kind of talk to people about Celebration, and go through there. And some of the stuff I'm going to talk about again, because it's funny, because anybody who is on social media, sometimes I just get a laugh, and I'm not making fun of anybody, but the panic button starts, like all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, the panels, this is this. It's the answers are there, everybody. You'll be able to find them. Try not to stress out. Try to realize what you're going to do to have fun. I know I'll be helping Travis out as well, while we're down there, and going. But it's definitely one of these things that, you know it's very interesting. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that's going on for Celebration. But first, let's talk about something that they announced today, which I thought was very interesting, because I'm actually going to put my buddy Michael Havens on a kudos here, because this is like one of the first times that I've seen this outside of ICCC last year. We didn't do it this year, where we had dinner with the Fets. So Star Wars Celebration kind of has their own version they announced today. It was breakfast with the Clone Wars actors, Matt Lannard and Ashley Eckstein, which I thought
Mhm.
was kind of interesting. It goes on sale tomorrow. There really wasn't nothing about price or anything like that, but I thought it was kind of cool. So if you are a Clone Wars fan and it's something that you were interested in, I wanted to bring it up today. Because you don't really see that too much. So I thought it was kind of neat, and it says it's very limited. So I'm wondering how many tickets this is actually going to. What are your thoughts, Travis? Is this something that you might partake in, or is it just something that is pretty interesting to see?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool thing. I'd be curious to see what the actual, cost of it is.
Yeah,
It looks like it's on Sunday, so I guess it's, like a Sunday brunch. Which, depending on how Saturday night goes, sometimes Sunday breakfast doesn't really happen for me. Depending on the date and time. It's 8 a.m. Man, that's pretty early. And with the time zone change, that's gonna feel like, a 6, or 5 or 4 a.m. for me. So I don't know if I'll make it, but it's a kind of a cool thing. I guess it's a little bit something different than just like
yeah,
a regular panel. So it's yeah, hope it's a cool idea. Hopefully it kind of catches on and maybe they expand on it in the future.
yeah, yeah. Definitely a fun little thing, and it is half tempting. But I do know some of those celebration nights do tend to go a little late. Those Pepsis get colder as the night goes. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, so the other thing this week, obviously, the virtual panels and the exhibitor shopping opened up. Now, this was shocking for Celebration veterans because it was actually not as much as we thought was going to be in there. I believe there was 4 or 5 panels.
Yeah, there
Um,
was there was there was 4. I think it was
yeah,
like a Lucasfilm Media, the Mando one, Bad Batch season 2, and then I think it's like a Lucasfilm Light
yeah,
and
like
Magic or
balance,
something.
like yeah,
Yeah, so it was four panels and then 8 different shopping days. I think 4 for Funko and 4 for Loungefly.
yeah. So it was definitely because like we don't have anything from Hasbro. Um, Nothing there from Lego, which I thought was interesting. There are some exclusives out there, which was, not too bad, but it's just compared to what we had a couple years ago. It definitely isn't to that level of hype to where, um, we were wanting to try to grab everything. I know Funko has some of their pops out there. Um, a lot of them are the same molds as they were. They're just kind of repackaged differently and so on. And then obviously Lando and the Millennium Falcon. There's some soda. There's the Wampa 3 liter soda,
Oh
which I
yeah.
thought was kind of interesting. Um, and then we also had Loungefly is going to have stuff as well.
Mhm.
I do know Diamond Select is going to officially, they have been leaked, but they are going to officially announce, I think tomorrow, they announced their exclusive, which I think is the Stormtrooper. And I can't remember what the other one is right off the top of my
Oh, is
head.
it it's the Stormtrooper bust?
Yeah, it's a
Or the
Stormtrooper
okay,
bust, and,
yeah,
and
I think
there's
I've seen
one
that one
other
floating
one.
around. But
Um,
yeah, I mean, I think overall, we talked about this a few weeks ago. I mean, the only thing I can think of is because the company I work for, my day job, is kind of impacted by some of this as well. And I imagine a lot of these manufacturers are as well. There's just a lot of production shutdown, shipping, et cetera,
yeah,
overseas. So I just have to think that that's playing some sort of role in this on either they can't get things, the production was so held up from the last 2 years they couldn't actually get things made, so they're, similar molds and models repainted, packaged a little differently is, kind of the best they could do on short notice, so it's a little lackluster, I'll admit, but I mean, there's still some cool things out there. I was hoping maybe for some more Book of Boba Fett stuff, knowing that had just come out, like a Black Chrysanthemum Funko or exclusive or something like that could have
yeah,
been sort of unique and cool, but it's just a lot of stuff that a lot of collectors will still go after because they're exclusives, but
yeah.
nothing that I'm gonna, you know, tackle anybody and to get in line for necessarily.
Yeah, and like a couple I know that I'm interested in. I know obviously Fig Pen has a Boba Fett pin that's going to be there. RFX has a Boba Fett statue as
Mhm.
well. But yeah, it's definitely different in compared to the excitement that there was last year. I mean, Hallmark has a couple exclusives, but nothing that really kind of jumped out. I know the Celebration store announced some stuff today finally, and some of it's pretty interesting. I don't want to ruin the surprise, but go look for the Amperu coffee mug, everybody.
Mhm.
Um, it's literally, no pun intended. It's Disney's actually has some dark humor.
Yeah.
So
That is what I probably will have to try and pick up if I can, just because.
yeah, I don't even drink coffee, but I kind of want that mug just because I should have just got a picture and popped it up on here. But also, yeah, and then also they announced their pin program as well. So if you're familiar with the pin program, there's different ways you can get it. You can trade. They'll have different people walking around, even with exclusive pins. You have to go to some exhibitors to get pins when you buy stuff. That as well. Page there. So I mean, there's still a lot of the same stuff that's going on, but it's definitely tuned down a little bit from what we had in past years. So
Mhm.
with that, and also being kind of not as big as it was in the past years, the guest list this year is it's pretty surprising. I mean, we do have some great guests. Don't get me wrong. If you're a Star Wars fan, you haven't got a chance to get some meet and autograph and get your pictures with some of these guests. It's definitely a good lineup. But definitely was surprised that we didn't get a lot more. And with McGregor being announced, I mean, how surprising that they have not, especially with it being Reed Pop, and it seems to be like with Hayden Christensen not being announced. I thought for sure those two would be together. So I mean, was that surprise
Yeah.
to you?
Yeah, that was definitely a surprise. Maybe there's still some hope for a panel pop-up appearance during like the 'cause it's 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones with Obi-Wan coming out, but
Yeah,
with Ahsoka, I think actually I did an article on that a week or two ago. Ahsoka is officially now in production,
yeah,
and the rumors, I don't know if it's 100% confirmed. I think Rosario Dawson maybe posted something and then she had to take it down. The rumor is Hayden Christensen is going to show up in that. So if he's involved in that, and just knowing how locked down a lot of these filming productions are due to
yeah,
COVID and stuff, because you know, Mandalorian, I think, was impacted by COVID, I think, earlier this year during production. So that can definitely derail some things. So I have to think, similar to Mark Hamill's story, that, if they're off filming and kind of on a lockdown set, that's just kind of is what it is, and they're stuck and they
yeah,
can't actually physically be on site. But yeah, it's definitely surprising not to have more. I think from the Attack of the Clones, I guess we have, with Obi-Wan, Django are really the, only two I can think of
yeah.
that are had a part in that film that are going to
And
be there.
even with like the most recent announcements, which I thought was kind of cool. They did. Rupert Friend was
Hmm.
announced. He was the last guest announcement, which I'm guessing is going to be the last major guest announcement. Playing the Grand Inquisitor, which I was hoping for Jason Isaac
Hmm.
to get that Rebels pop sign. So I don't know. I'm kind of in limbo on what I want to do with this one. But that it was just kind of surprising. This is what was kind of led up to the end. We're going to talk a little bit about their after hours signing, which is a little different as well. We'll talk about that here next. But how surprising was it for you that this was the kind of like the final big announcement? I think.
Yeah, I think I kept expecting the final big announcement was going to be, oh, Darth Vader himself, Hayden Christensen is going to be at Celebration. But then when they posted this one, I was like, okay, cool. And then somebody I was reading through the comments, they were like, this was the last one. And I went back to the official that said, yep, our final announcement. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, nothing against Rupert. I'm sure he's a great guy and he's a good guest to have, but this would have been, an earlier on announcement, not the grand finale of the the fireworks show. You saved kind of your biggest name potentially there that hadn't been revealed for last.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of fans were just assuming and had expectations of Hayden, and then it didn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially with and what's also interesting with the autographs this year is how limited some of the appearances are. I know, for example, Kelly Marie Tran has sold out. Um, I believe Morrison has more. I don't know if he officially sold back out or not, or if he still has slots open. Uh, um, Katie Slagoff has,
Hmm.
I think, sold out again. McGregor, of course. So there's been a lot of sellouts, but the days have been very limited. And what's also interesting, and like I said, with this being your first one, is today they finally announced times for their groups and stuff for photo ops. But as of this afternoon, they still did not have that for autographs, which will be very interesting to see what happens during panels and autographs for some people who got McGregor but might got the panel they want and they can't. Like it's going to be that I thought was kind of interesting.
Hmm.
So. More to come on that, everybody. I hope that doesn't like ruin anybody's plans and stuff, but just be ready. It definitely has changed from what it has in the past on that. But what also they've added, which I thought was interesting, especially if you're looking for some of the smaller names. There is some big names in here as well, but if you're looking for to complete those, cast posters and things like that, the new the after hour signing event, which I thought was pretty cool. That's going to go through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You have to have you have to purchase an autograph and have obviously a celebration pass to go to this. But they do have some pretty good names on that, and we'll just kind of get right into that. And like, what are your thoughts on this, Travis? You like how they kind of given us at least an option to get some more added to our collection?
Yeah, it was a cool idea, I think. I don't want to say some smaller names, but I guess comparatively, if we have to rank, star power and things of that nature, some of the other guests that have the Carl Weathers, Katie Sackhoffs, etc.
Yeah,
This is another good way, I think, to get more meet and greets, more time to talk to, chat briefly, get the autographs, like you said, for cast posters, maybe a Funko, something that you need.
yeah,
Kind of additional ways for fans to interact with some of the talent
yeah.
out there.
I mean, you got Matthew Wood, you got Grievous, and Estein, which is pretty awesome. I bet you that's going to be another hot one.
Mhm.
People wanting to come to that.
I was glad
But
to see, because I'm personally a fan of W. Earl Brown from his time back in the Deadwood series, which
yeah,
coincidentally enough, my guy Timothy Oliphant, aka Cobb Vanth, was in that show. Then they rejoined each other as
yep,
partners, sort of in the Mandalorian. So I was
yep.
I may have to try to track that one down just for that.
And then also some more great names. Steven, great friend of mine, awesome guy, our Grimorian guard himself. Lex Lane, who did stuff for the animated show. The resist. Oh my gosh, I just completely lost my.
Oh, the Resistance,
Yes, thank
the
you.
newest one, yeah.
Yeah. Mike Quinn. So Don Byes was, if you're a Boba Fett collector, he's was Boba Fett in Return of the Jedi. So it's definitely
And
kind
you
of neat
have
to see that.
what
Taylor Gray, so
Taylor
you
Gray
got Ezra.
was Ezra, which it's an interesting time for him too, just because of all of the Ezra swirling, in the series, with the Ahsoka thing coming up.
And then obviously Anna Graves, who voiced Duchess Satine. So I mean, obviously a good lineup there of of members and stuff. What's really nice is I'm actually working with Anna Graves right now. Going to be sending hopefully an interview here pretty soon with her, and she's also going to be donating some stuff for our Mission 22 charity auction, which I'm very
But I
excited
will,
about.
but we'll say though, if you take a Funko Pop to get signed by Anna Graves, it will not, it cannot be the first one.
Yep, that's right. Because I own the very first pop she has ever signed, so it's pretty awesome that I actually got to do that. So it was this a beam. I know a lot of people asked me about why I had her sign that. She did voice a beam when in Rebels when she was possessed by the Night Sister. So you got to find those loopholes when they don't have a pop for them to sign. You
Yeah.
like to have your pop signed. So I found that one, and it was awesome to add that to the collection there. But celebration, it's going to be a blast. I mean, Travis, I know you're getting closer. What are your thoughts right now heading into your first one?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of a whirlwind of looking for flights, getting everything sort of situated here at the last minute to make it out there. But yeah, I mean, definitely the more I talk to people, the more I read comments on our Facebook page, the celebration Facebook page that Spencer runs. Talked with him a few weeks ago. Just as the time starts nearing closer, just get more and more excited about it. And like you said, could there have been more celebrities? Could there have been more exclusives? Yeah. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's going to be a great time out there. It's going to be it's going to be all Star Wars, a lot of great fans. It's going to be, I think, a great sort of environment to be in for a couple of days.
Yeah, it's definitely a good time. And also I got to say, hey, what's up, Scott? Thanks for watching. Just saw the message here. Sorry, my messages have been going really slow tonight, so I don't know what's going on with that. But those are some of the messages that came through here. And thank you for watching with us, Scott. But yeah, it's just it is exciting, and I know my celebration days are slowing down. But I'm excited to, be able to go to one more at least, and go out there and have a good time in Anaheim, and see what's going on there. I will say the schedule, I have no clue what the schedule is going to hold because of just the way these panels are, exclusives, autographs,
Hmm.
stuff like that. But the biggest thing I'll tell anybody who's going, just go out there, have fun, don't stress, things work out. Like I said, the last celebration, I didn't have. Now I'm not saying it's going to happen every time, but I didn't win a single lottery, and still get a lot of the exclusives, and go to some of the panels and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So just have fun out there, everybody. It's going to be a good time. I can't tell you enough that it's how much it's just great being around Star Wars fans that love Star Wars. The toxic fans aren't around. You're around people who get emotional, who will cry, who will laugh. It'll be just an experience that you don't get every day. So it's be good to see you got everybody out there, all the friends and stuff that we've made over the past few years. I can't wait to see you all out there as well. So, and then Travis, like I said, I can't even explain to you. It's going to be, you're going to walk in and it's going to be deer in the headlights. So, but all right, so we're actually pretty much wrapping up tonight. I know we had a short little episode tonight, but a couple things we're going to talk about. Again, I always talk about our charity auction. We've had some more great items donated and more on the way. Obviously, I said Anna Graves is going to send us some autographed prints for the charity auction for Mission 22. Sean Crawford, Yak Face, donated some stuff as well. Mike Quinn, also my boy Kip. One of the big items that was donated, Sarah Michelle Gellar autograph,
Hmm.
as one of the Inquisitors. So pretty excited about that one being in there as well. So a lot of great items coming this way. Hopefully we'll get a few more with that as well. But very excited about it again. Hopefully, our goal is to really crush it and help out Mission 22 on that, and that will be in August. We will do the charity auction in August. We said we did push it back. We are still working on the glasses. I'm hoping to have a new update on that pretty soon. So until then, unfortunately, we as of right now, the glasses are on hold, but we hopefully will be able to get those in production here in a little while. I know we're working with some artists now that's probably going to help us out with that here very shortly. So also, the other thing I want to announce coming up here in July. Sorry about hit the wrong button there. About close this all out early. The Ronald McDonald Charities. We're going to be teaming up with Buy Me Toys in Mishawaka. And we don't have the date set yet, but we will be doing a Christmas in July where all toys brought in will be donated to Ronald McDonald House Charities. So families can, have a chance to have a Christmas there if they're staying, and their kids as well. So I'm pretty excited about this. This means a lot. I know I had family members that had to stay there during some tough times. So this charity means a lot to me. And it'll be great to see that as well too. So great things coming up with the future for us. Again, I want to thank you all. Travis and I can't thank you enough on how great this group is, how much fun that we have doing this show, and hopefully how much fun we'll have coming live at you for celebration. So, I mean, I don't know about you, Travis, but I'm getting excited. I've actually started
Hmm.
folding some clothes for my suitcase. So
Yeah, yeah. I've been
getting,
starting to think about that. I'm like, oh man, it's a little bit warmer out in California than I'm used to here in Indiana. Although lately it's probably been maybe even warmer
yeah.
here than it
Mhm.
was out there. But yeah, I got to start planning. Packing is not one of my favorite things to do, so I need
Yeah.
to start getting a jump on that.
Yeah, I probably should start getting ready because I know I'll probably hit, like the day before. I'm like, oh man, I have not even grabbed that out of the suitcase yet. So I'm pretty excited on that. But again, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Again, you can follow me at the hashtag show. Follow Travis and I both at the hashtag show
Hmm.
on our social medias. Right there.
Yep.
Yep. And then Travis over here somewhere. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Follow us at Star Wars Nerd 574, the Indiana Salon. And also thank you again, to hashtag show, for giving us the opportunity to write, and have
Hmm.
fun doing this. Great stuff. And also to our sponsor, TRG Toys and Collectibles, who makes this StreamYard stream possible. Make sure you go to trgtoys.com buy some great stuff from them. Marvel, Star Wars, you name it, he has it. Godzilla. So there you go. There's your little plug for you tonight, Dennis. And can't wait to see you all this weekend, or they see you all. Well, some of you I'll see this coming up this weekend, and then the rest of you I will see. I'm traveling all over. The rest of you I'll see at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. So, Travis, you got anything else that you want to?
No, just again, thanks everybody for tuning in, and those of you that watch potentially here after the fact. Thanks for checking out our little show. Just two knuckleheads here talking about Star Wars. So, yeah, again, looking forward to seeing everybody that comes out to Celebration, and also just hearing what people have to say about the news that comes out of it, and looking forward to again to the charity events later this year as well. I know we did a great job, kind of really surprised me in a shockingly great way that we did such a great job last time around. So we have a high bar set from last year. So let's go above and beyond that this time around.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. So like I said, we got some donated. And again, if you want to donate, if you are still watching, if you would like to donate, please contact Travis or myself. And we'll be more than happy to, take donations as well. There'll also be, for the Christmas in July, we'll have an Amazon wish list link as well, so things can be bought and delivered to us to donate as well on there. So with all being said, we're gonna play our ending for our plug for the Great Old Hashtag Show. Make sure you follow Hashtag Show. We're just a bunch of writers that just love pop culture. We're not there to mislead you, and we're there to have fun and have a great time writing. So make sure you follow us, hashtagshow.com. Again, Star Wars Nerd 574, Indiana Salone. And until we meet again, everybody be safe, and may the Force be with you.